Welcome to TUF Talk, the show where we break down the Ultimate Fighter episode by episode, every punch, every kick, and every meltdown. Whether you're Team DC or Team CHLP, you know this season's gonna be stacked, and we're here to give you our unfiltered reactions, predictions for next week, and a few shots along the way. So grab your favorite drink, lock in for the ride, and let's talk tough, because this is TUF Talk, where the fights are fierce, the takes hit harder than a knockout punch, and the conversation never pulls guard. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Nano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano. What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, TUF Talk. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as always, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. How we doing, my brother?
Let's go. Great to see you again. Little deja vu here, going back to back this week. That is a great week, ladies and gents. Great to be back with y'all. Great to see you. We got some people active in the chat already. City Life Project, we see you. Man, can't wait to dive on in, brother. That was a hell of an episode. Hell of a week and hell of a show. Let's go.
Hell of an episode, hell of a start to the week, and man, yeah, you're not lying, dude. Goodness gracious me. That was a real heartbreaker. Watching the guy's backstory and everything else. It was truly Mexico versus India, and what a fight indeed, Miss Mary. What a fight. City Life Project, bro, he was coming back.
So
why did he have to redeem like Bobby Green? Oh man. Oh man. Dude,
redeem team.
I love this. I'm not even Indian. I was just invested. Dude, same.
Yeah, hard not to be, right? Hard not to be.
It was so good, man. It was so good. But I digress. I mean, the whole episode, top to bottom, bottom to top, was a great episode. And I mean, Imanol Rodriguez, he really just is that dog, my guy. He brought a lot of great things to the octagon. But before we even make it to the octagon, we have to talk about a little bit more of this episode before we jump into the fight directly, right? We don't want to jump right out of the right into the skillet to start. So let's go ahead and start from the top. First things first, Colby Covington being a nice guy and being honest and true to character. What were your thoughts on that, man? Like,
definitely interesting. I think some vintage Colby moment there. And this is the beauty of the show, right? You get to see bits and pieces and them in their truest form, my brother. I mean, what stood out to you with this intro to this episode?
Yeah, man. I mean, he basically said Brazil is one of his favorite places to fight, despite popular belief, and that he had to do what he had to do. So it's tough, man. It's tough. Coronam asked who won. Well, I'll tell you who won, my friend. It was Imanol Rodriguez. If you were invested in the story, I mean, both guys have great backstories. You can literally get behind either one of them. But I was going for the Slumdog Millionaire. I was going for Ashan Mimon. Is that how you say his name? I believe. Arshan Mimon. I mean, dude just has a hell of a backstory, man. Like small town in Mumbai, literally in the slums, and it's tough. It's tough. But jumping back to Colby Covington, my guy, it's a breath of fresh air to see him actually being himself. I actually love seeing Colby Covington just be Colby Covington and not be Chaos Covington, like the super villain that he created, right? So yeah, man, I thought it was a breath of fresh air. I'm looking forward to seeing that throughout the rest of the season, if I'm being completely honest with you. So yeah, keep on giving me that one. Now the next thing I wanted to ask you about, Nano, before I get into that, Juice Man, shout out Juice Man. How we doing?
Juice, the juice is loose. And
Fresh
nothing gets by you. Very observant, very astute observation, I should say. It is a fresh cut. Had to get correct, man. It's hot out here in Arizona. It's summertime everywhere. And that hair was getting a little too long for you, boy. I had to come correct. I appreciate you noticing. Thanks for coming back as always, Juice Man. Great to have you. Let's go.
Love to see it. Love to see it. And the City Life Project, great show, guys. Listening as I make dinner. Love the channel, dude. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. That kind of stuff means the world to us, truly. He also said Rodriguez is good, man. His fights in Fury were savage. You're absolutely not wrong. My boy Crossover MMA lives out in that area. He goes to a lot of the Fury fights, and he's definitely put us on this guy. So love to see it, bro. Yeah, bro. You guys are always on my screen. I tend to notice a few changes here and there. Dude, start calling you a referee, man. If you're wearing stripes, I'm telling you, you got to be a referee because nothing gets by you. Dude, the next thing I wanted to ask you about, or rather talk to you about, is some of the coaching back and forth that we saw in this episode. I thought was really, really great. DC, first and foremost, right? Whenever they're showing the DC training montage there, he's talking to his fighter, and he's saying that the fight isn't 25 minutes of burst. It's burst, peel back some, and burst, and then peel back some. I thought that was really, really sound advice coming from DC. And it's also not something that you hear super often being taught to these kids coming up, and even less so on TUF. So I was just curious to hear kind of what you thought when you heard that advice.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. That coupled with the drill montage that they were doing, and like you mentioned, utilizing a lot of those little muscles as well, things you may not typically work out in a gym, you know, guys like myself, right? The guys that are in there throwing iron around, which is all fine and dandy, but those drills specifically, and the emphasis that DC was making is on those little joints, the little muscles that get sore from, again, one thing and one thing only, and that's the old fashioned dancing, and that's mixed martial arts. Okay, is what I'm talking about. Because yeah, I mean, to me, that was a great point. You don't hear about it a lot, and I think the first few episodes definitely highlighted a lot of Chael's coaching, but this felt like it was DC's time. It was almost like the DC episode to kind of let us get his golden nuggets, and obviously, again, one that sticks out as far as knowing the pace of fights and what it really is, right? Kind of similar to soccer or basketball or other sports like that, where it isn't just 0 to 100. It's 80 to 30 to 60 to maybe 90, back down to 40 percentage wise, or I guess output wise. So that's a great thing to drill. And I mean, you got to love DC for that. And those drills and everything. I'm like, man, I might need to incorporate some of those myself. The one-legged jumps and up downs and crawling underneath ropes, jump roping in general. I'm like, a lot of these things, y'all, if you don't do it often, go pick one up and you'll be sore the next day.
100%, man. And I love that DC, first thing I got to mention is when DC does these training montages, and, you know, it's him and, what's his, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name. Oh, Rosendo Sanchez. The dude that pushed Brock Lesnar in the cage whenever Brock Lesnar pushed DC. Like, tiny dude that was holding mitts for Imanol during the episode. He's a badass, bro. Rosendo Sanchez is a badass. And like those guys, watching them run these drills, these montages, it just makes me so nostalgic to the AKA days. Because like we all ran those drills, bro. We all ran those drills. And dude, they make a killer out of you. And they make an honest man out of you. You know what I mean? So I love seeing those getting taught to the newer generation of fighters that we're seeing on this show this season. And it's a beautiful thing. And then moving into Chael's advice, right? Like he's talking to his fighter, he's watching his fighter inside of the ring, right? And man, yeah, Juice Man, the little chubby guy, right? LOL. I remember seeing that. Like, bro, Lesnar spared you or spared you. Yes, dude. Zeno got hands, bro. That motherfucker's quick as hell. I'm telling you, he's tiny. He's like 5'2", but he's quick as hell.
Oh, don't let it fool you. Those fly guys can tussle.
5'2".
Yeah, there you go.
But no, man, like Chael, whenever he was talking to his fighter, he told him on like, or he didn't tell him, but he was rather speaking into the camera. He was saying, you know, he's quick. He's got to get his hands on him early because he throws what we call punches and bunches. And if he lands one, he might as well throw two. If he throws two, he might as well throw two. If he throws three, he might as well throw four. And I thought that's very true. That's very good advice. And And we saw it happen to an extent, but not as much as I maybe would have liked to see it happen in here. And I'll allude to, after we talk about the fight quickly, the reasoning behind what I thought kind of was the issue here, right? More so than not. I don't think this is the end of line for Mamon, because I think that he does show a lot of promise. And look, we're going to call a spade here, Dono. There's no elephant in the room, right? It's no filter here still. Even though it's tough talk, it's still no filter kind of, right? We know that Dana and the brass have been searching for an Indian star. He checks the boxes, bro. So
yeah,
let's go, bro. Like, he's going to sign the dotted line on there. I think he's going to give this guy another chance. But we'll get into that in a moment. Before we get into that, let's talk about, again, the fight itself. In that first round, my goodness, man, Imanol Rodriguez lands a nasty body kick. It's pretty back and forth up until that moment of the fight, I would say. It's very back and forth. And then that body kick just smacked in. You heard it. And the second it connected, his face scrunched up. He leaned in. His hands instantly sucked into his ribs. And I think he may have gotten a rib snapped in that kick. It's very, very likely. Nano, what were your thoughts on that kind of opening sequence, or rather the opening 3 minutes, if you will?
Yeah, nothing but fireworks, right? I think we kind of insinuated it last week, and I think we'll continue to see the same theme. Happens more often than not on these tough episodes, is guys pretty much going out there and guns a-blazing. I don't know a better way to say it. I think half of it is maybe their styles. I think the other half is the bright lights, right? You want to go out there, you want to put on a show. You're kind of feeling some of that pressure to prove yourself. And I think what happens more as you go from being, an amateur to a true pro or a savvy veteran is you do sort of slow down and get more cerebral with your approach. So I think that does just come with time, frankly, which is great for us, right? This is exactly the type of performances we want to see on a random Tuesday during the week here to really spice things up. But yeah, man, I mean, I figured going in, obviously we talked about the drills. Obviously we went into a little bit about their backstory. And again, they do a great job of really getting us, pulling on our heartstrings and getting us to commit to these fighters. And even, like city life, you may not even be from that home country, but you see some flashes of how things are, and you hear a little bit more about the person that's putting on the gloves. Next thing you know, you're rooting for him and you're standing up and riding the ups and downs. That's the love of the game, baby. But with that being said, yeah, it was fun sequence to set the tone. I had a feeling Imanol was going to be cool, calm, collected, and the guy is just like a tightly wound up ball, man. It just feels like as soon as you release him or any movement he does, he's well balanced and it's freaking snapping. Like, he's just powerful, he's strong. But you got to give Manon some props as well. Like, he equally is powerful, and that heart, I would say the chin as well. I mean, we're going to get into that here in a second, but I think, what made him so exciting and what, made Dana White rush to sign him give him a contract to sign might be the same thing that is kind of keeping him from maybe reaching his full potential. And it was the kind of drop the hands, meet me in the center of the octagon. Oh, you think you got me there? It was kind of an Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman moment. I kind of felt it. And then you just see Imanol really teeing off on those shots. And then once you've seen Manon kind of shell up, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that one, at least one of those flurries got him. So kind of the beginning of the end, but boy, oh boy, up until that point, you saw nothing but fantastic strikes, heavy strikes, and just pure violence. We give the people what they want, my brother. And we're always no filter around here. We don't filter nothing. So give it to us straight. Anything else stood out to you? And what did you think of that finish? And do you have similar thoughts? Were you kind of reminiscent of, you messed it, you done fucked her up and found out?
So yes and no. He did fuck around and find out. I agree with City Life Project here. He is tough as hell, scrappy, and a dog. Yeah, absolutely. But I digress. Again, I agree and disagree with you, Nano. I agree that this opening montage, everything about it was great. What you said about the backstory is getting us to, just kind of tear jerk a little bit and get us to root for somebody that we didn't even know prior. It worked on us. So yeah, the fight itself, I don't necessarily think that the issue was that he dropped his hands and tried to go full Anderson Silva or full Bobby Green. I think he had a broken rib on his left side. I think he had a rib get snapped. One of those low 2 ribs for sure has at least a fracture. And at that point, you can either do this and eat more rib damage, which is definitely going to make you keel over, or you can drop your hands, hope that he throws something winging, and that you can fire from the hip and rock him. He tried to do that, and he missed. And then he ate 2 more for his troubles. Like, was it tough to watch? Yeah. But do I think that he had any other choice? No. Like, I've been there. I've been in sparring where you eat 1 too many shots to the leg and you have to switch stance, even though you're shit at southpaw. Or you eat 1 too many shots to the body, and so you've got to drop your hands down there, and before you know it, you're fucking getting wrung at the top. So these are crossroads that you face as a fighter, right? It's unfortunate, but true. Or as James Hetfield of Metallica once wisely said, you know it's sad but true. Like, it's a fact, bro. These are the sad but true facts of life, dog. But I think the biggest issue with this fight was not a game planning situation. I don't think it was a overall who's better or talent situation. I think it's a who's better right now, a who's more talented right now situation. And I think that comes down to where they're training and who they're training with, right? One man is training out of a gym called Blaxicans, which I'll be honest with you, dope name. Can't tell you I've really heard a ton about it prior, but I can tell you that I've seen multiple pictures of him training with Diego Lopez. You know exactly who I'm talking about. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's the guy who looks like the lead singer of Blink-182. You know, the guy that sings, "Where are you?" And I'm so sorry. I was rooting for Mimone, but he has no one in sight that is famous or in the big show like UFC. No, seriously though, bro. Dude, I mean, you got to have top tier talent if you want to be and compete with top tier talent. It's one thing if neither of them have any like celebrities or top tier talent in their corner or in their gym. But when one does and the other doesn't, that is a significant cheat code, right? It's kind of like when we talk about like the Jake Pauls of the world who have unlimited money, unlimited time, and unlimited assets to go and train with some of the best people in the world. He's going to beat a lot of people because a lot of people don't have that. I'm sorry, but Arshan did not have that, right? Arshan does not have the opportunity to train with these top tier people. He opened his own academy and he's got 63 students, which is fantastic. But he's practically learning from the people that he's teaching to an extent. Like he's plateauing where he is. I think they need to put him on a growth contract similar to what they did with Chase Hooper. I think that would be a very smart move for them. And I think that would be a great way for them to grow and foster the talent out of India that they really want to see come to fruition in the UFC. What are your thoughts on that, Nano?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think there's no doubt about it as far as probably the amount of untapped potential out there that feels like the next big country that can really become a tidal wave as far as talent, things like that. But yeah, maybe they're still a few years away. And I'm sure that's top of mind for the UFC. Like, they started in places like Mexico and Canada and the Australias and UKs of the world, and obviously continuing to expand from there. Now you're hearing about them traveling to Spain, and is China going to be in the equation? Brazil, all these places, right? I mean, the list goes on. Obviously, Saudi Arabia, which even more of a case for the idea or the, I guess, sort of focus on building that part of the world. I don't know if they have any UFC Apex or UFC institutes, any performance institutions, excuse me, in that area, but I'm sure that's got to be on the horizon. And then once they do, we're probably another 2, 3, maybe 5 years away from getting like the guys we're talking about, the Diego Lopez's, the Alexa Grassos, Brandon Moreno's, right? All these homegrown talents that stay there and grow and get the skills they need. And like we kind of saw today, right? I mean, I think I've never been, right? I mean, we have a mutual, friend that is from that area. And so you hear things, but, kind of seeing how it is out there. I mean, I think, man, I would say the UFC can definitely do a lot of good out there, whether it is just a path or a way, an outlet, right? I mean, you see it. Some of those types of countries produce like the best fighters. I think let's call it what it is. So I think it's inevitable, my brother. And I like the way you mentioned that kind of slow roll it out, or no Icarus effects here. But before I keep rambling, what up, Drew? Dropping in to say what's
What up,
up. Well, we
brother?
appreciate it. What is up?
Dude, making his way to the MMAnomaly Show, TUF Talk, all the way from World Series of Poker after hanging out with little old Mackenzie Dern today. My guy, how we doing?
Jeez.
Hope you're having a great day. I mean,
Rockstar.
I actually don't have to hope. I know you're having a great day, my guy. Love to see you in the chat, man.
That's fire.
Can't wait to see you in Vegas in a few weeks. Same as this guy. Let's fucking go, bro.
Let's go.
Cannot wait. And yeah, dude, like I'd love to see the UFC build some kind of performance institute out there. Like they obviously want to push Indian talent. They obviously want to do something like out in that area, get some stars built in other countries. As of right now, they don't have anything out there. They have a 35,000 square foot facility in Las Vegas. They have a 92,000 square foot facility in Shanghai, and they have a 30,000 square foot facility in Mexico. Those are the only three they currently have right now. But again, like, I don't think it'd be a hard sell if you tried to tell him, like, hey, would you like to leave your mom and dad and brother and come here for like 6 months on a developmental contract and train with us? He would sign up, I think, for that and be at the Vegas PI. I think the dude has talent written all over him, and I think so does his opponent, the man that won the fight that we're not talking about enough, Emmanuel Rodriguez. Dude is a fucking stud. And I think the only reason we're not getting more of a push of this guy, or that we might not get as big of a push of this guy as maybe he's deserving of, is that he's fighting out of a country where we have a bountiful amount of fighters coming from, if we're, again, calling a spade here, right? Like, if I asked you, or we asked 100 polled people, when you think of fighting spirit, what nationality do you think of? People are going to say fucking Mexico, dog. Like,
Modelo time, fool.
It's Modelo, bro. It's Modelo time, fool. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Doubling down on it.
It is time.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, and I think a good reminder too, with Carlos Esparza on there. It's one of those things where obviously if you win it all, usually a good sign that you can make a name for yourself in the UFC. But it's not even always the winners that have success or find stardom, or maybe have the best career. I'm referring to her dance partner in a Thug Rose, Namajunas. Again, another absolute stud. Last week it was TJ Dillashaw. Didn't even win the Ultimate Fighter, but still went on to have a very promising career and end up being champion. So yeah, someone like him and all, not to put that kind of pressure or lofty goals on him, but I think all to say, if you can prove that you can put on a good show and that you have skills in this type of setting, I think it will typically transfer over into the octagon stage as well. Can't wait to see it. He is a stud. That's the facts. His boxing is crisp, which is kind of stereotypical for us, Mexicanos and Mexicanas. But like you said, man, iron sharpens iron. I think he's definitely going to only benefit from where he is. I ain't mad about it.
Yeah, no one's mad at that being a stereotypical thing, bro. Like, if the worst thing people can say about you is, I mean, he's got really crispy boxing. I mean, come on. It's a pretty great place to be. Juice Man said, yeah, UFC wants to have some Indian fighters slowly but surely. You're absolutely right, Juice Man. Dude, I didn't know until 2 days ago that Rose was on this card. I am hyped. She's one of my faves. Yeah, man. We are going to be breaking down the card in its totality on, I believe, Thursday this week. So definitely make sure you tune into that. Who knows? Maybe if it works out even better, we might do it tomorrow. But I'll reconvene with the co-host after this, and we'll figure it out, folks. But either way, I know we wanted to keep this pretty short and concise tonight. We have a tight schedule tomorrow, both of us. So, Nano, did you have anything else that you wanted to add? Did you want to talk about Carla Esparza coming in to coach at all? I know you mentioned her briefly.
Yeah, I mentioned it briefly. Not to totally glaze over it, but always love the appearances we're seeing on these shows. Carla's one that another strong story. Someone that's a legend in my book. Thursday, count me in. Let's go, Juice. We'll see you then, my guy. Speaking of legends. But yeah, I mean, short of obviously continuing to have good episodes, good content, great guest appearances. Daniel Cormier is now up 2-1. He's up on his boy Chael Sonnen. And you got to pick another matchup. We're doing a USA versus Ireland, maybe in honor of, 4th of July coming up or something. Who knows? Obviously, this was filmed previously, just trying to make some sort of connection, but a little USA versus Ireland going on, a little Irish versus the Americano. So I'm excited to see that next matchup. It's always a good sign when they're doing the face-off and one of the fighters looks to the other one and says, "Just promise me a fight of the season." You're like, "Oh, geez, all right, just promise." I mean, you're pretty much saying, "Promise me we're gonna go out there, leave it all out there." That gets me excited, my brother. I don't know about you, but any other takeaways or anything else, man? The stage is yours.
No, dude, absolutely. I loved that. Like the intense stare down, and then he's just like, I don't know, or no, his hands were behind his back, right? And he breaks character. He's like, "All I ask is one thing: best fight of the season."
And shake on it. Yeah, it's like sign your soul,
bro.
Geez. Yeah,
he scared the weight cut out of that guy. If you watch the preview, it's gonna be a tough episode next week, man. I think it's going to be one of those where we might not end up actually getting a fight. We might end up getting a postponement or something. We might get blue balled next week, boys. But hey, I digress. It's been a hell of a season so far. So every season we've got at least one of those episodes, I feel. So if we're getting it, I'm just going to say, hey, we're getting it out pretty early on. We'll take it. But if we get a fight, I don't know that it's actually going to be the original slated man. I don't know that it's going to end up being Andreas Bender.
Well, they're definitely egging on and building up the feud between the two Brazilians, which is, I guess, funny. Maybe it's not a lot of other good content in the house thus far, but the
bald one, he is fun, dude.
He is pretty good. He's fiery. He's fiery.
A firecracker. And then the fighting nerd is just taking the conversation he had with Colby to heart. He's like, Literally. "Oh, I need to be a character? Let me go back home and grab these glasses."
Sign me up. He said, "I'll do it." Yep. I brought him just in case.
Nano is a must-have on the show. Dope as fuck. I absolutely agree.
Thanks,
that is why he is the go-to co-host with the most, man. Love having this dude on. This is the MMAnomaly Show, right? MMAnomaly and Nano. Love the show, fellas. Dude, we love you. We love you guys in the chat. Seriously. And dude, you're the fucking man. Appreciate you, Juice, man. We appreciate each and every one of you folks for tuning in. We are going to call it an early night. I know it's much earlier and shorter than usual. It happens. It happens in our old age. But no, I digress. It's a busy week, and 3 episodes does add up, I guess. So we will see you all on Thursday or possibly tomorrow. We'll let you know. Just, all you need to do to make sure you're notified of that is comment, subscribe, and the most important one, smash that bell for notifications, folks. You know what to do. And if you do nothing else that we've asked you to do, you already know what's coming, folks. If this ain't your first rodeo, you're going to hear this broken record every single episode, folks. We're going to ask that you keep on going and you keep on growing. We'll see you next time. Let's go.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.